question from Michael. It says that he's been eating a whole food plant-based diet, but still not able to eat unlimited amounts of beans every day. How can he go ahead and try to incorporate more beans into his diet? Says sometimes he eats white rice. Says sometimes he eats white rice instead of brown, and that seems to help. So if somebody's struggling, Dr. B, to get more beans into their diet, where would you suggest they start?
Chuck, beans. They're good for the heart. But the more you eat, the more you pass gas. So we want more beans. Beans are the longevity food. If you bring Dan Buettner from the Blue Zones on here, he's going to talk for an hour about beans, and it's hard to get him to stop talking about beans. It's a love affair, all right, because they're so good for us, and they reduce our risk of heart disease and cancer, among many other things. We want those beans. There are some tricks that you can apply. Naturally, my start low and go slow approach is a big part of the strategy that you use. What that means is getting your body adjusted to consuming beans. So don't go super hard at one meal with a ton of beans and then not eat beans for 2 weeks and talk about how that one meal made you feel bad. But instead, consuming beans with regularity in very small quantities is one of the ways that you can build up your tolerance. Another way is through soaking. When you soak your beans, all right, so if you have dried beans, put them in a bath of water overnight, all right? Wake up the next day, pour out the water, rinse them, and then pour out the water again, okay, before you cook them. Or if it's canned beans, quite simply rinse them like crazy. The reason that this works is that you are actually drawing off one of the things that is responsible for a lot of the gas production. It's what we call water soluble. And so water soluble means that it will get into the water. So when you add water to it, you are pulling this out. And then you're going to pour it out into the sink. And so you are eliminating this thing that can be responsible for some of the gas production. You can also cook your beans with kombu. That's one of the tricks that people do. And if you don't, this is a recent thing for me, Chuck. I have become a big Instant Pot fan. Do you have an Instant Pot?
Oh,
Yeah.
big fan. Big fan. Absolutely.
All right. I never used one until very recently. Now I get it. Now I understand why people are freaking out about this. You take, like, if you're doing whole grains, this is such a way to make whole grains so accessible, because you quite simply take, like, you scoop a cup of whole grains, drop it in there, add like a cup and a half of water, little sprinkle of salt if you want it, press the button and come back in 20 minutes and you got the most fluffy, delicious whole grains ever. Right?
Yeah, man.
The same is true for legumes. When you cook with the Instant Pot with legumes, it's not just reducing the lectin content. It also is reducing the histamine content, which can be responsible for some bloating. And so there are some benefits to doing it like this.